Welcome today to this Tech Talk Live, being hosted at the Royal National Institute of the Blind. Today, Carter Environmental will be carrying out a Legionella inspection at one of the R&IB properties.
My name is Mike Lee. I'm the manager of the Compliance Division of Carter Environmental Engineers. Today I will be ably assisted by one of my colleagues, Steve Oldham, one of our technical managers. As the name of the division suggests, our work is to ensure compliance with all independent standards and guidelines. The objective of today is to ensure that we illustrate what work needs to be carried out to ensure compliance with Legionella control specifically, and to comply with such standards as ACOP L8 and HSG 274, which has been produced by the Health and Safety Executive. There are also many other standards, including such ones as HTMO4, which is specifically for healthcare premises. And today we can point out the areas where you can assist in compliance of hot and cold water standards from day one of the system's operation. ACOP L8 specifically stipulates that every new or modified system should be risk assessed specifically for Legionella control. That risk assessment should be in full compliance with yet another standard, BS 8580, and typically it should contain these sections as follows. This outlines the index of such a document, illustrating the necessary components. We have to ensure that the responsible people for all aspects of the management of Legionella control are identified and that all parties concerned are competent and aware of their duties. A written scheme is also produced which details the individual tasks required to ensure that the risk from Legionnaire's disease is minimised. The risk assessment should also detail any actions required to assist in the control of Legionella issues. For example, cut-off ends or dead legs, and recording results in the logbook. An accurate schematic of the systems being assessed will also be completed to assist in compliance and to assist in highlighting where improvements are necessary. From all of the information gathered, an overall risk assessment can be concluded. Specific Legionella risk assessment should be completed for all new systems or any systems that have been significantly modified, or if there's been a change to responsible personnel. It's also important to carry out regular reviews of these risk assessments to ensure that any actions required are completed in a timely manner. It is a requirement of every site to have a suitable logbook. These can either be hard copy or electronic, as long as every responsible person can gain access to them. All results and reports resulting from monitoring exercises should be stored within these logbooks. It is an opinion of auditing bodies that if those results aren't there, then the actions haven't been completed. My colleague Steve Oldham will now complete some of the routine tasks that are carried out as part of a Legionella management programme. These include the actions required to cold water storage tanks, calorifiers, outlets including taps, showers, thermostatic mixing valves, and expansion vessels and accumulators, and any other item connected to the system that can produce a fine spray or aerosol, including anything from a lathe to a water feature.
So we're now in the plant room here at the R&IB. Steve's going to show us what checks need to be carried out on a calorifier.
Well, Paul, on a monthly basis we check the store temperatures of the water, ensuring they're 60 degrees, which is the optimum temperature for Legionella prevention. And then we check the return temperatures to make sure that's above 50. And that guarantees the water circulating isn't at temperatures that are attractive to Legionella bacteria.
Thank you. So we spoke a little bit about the return temperatures and how critical they are. What about the actual integrity of the calorifier itself?
Well, on an annual basis, on a chlorify like this, where it has an inspection hatch, drain the chlorify down, take the hatch off, have a look inside, just to basically get an idea of what's in there, whether there's any sediment, slime, or anything that could favour Legionella bacterial growth. If it doesn't have a hatch, then there's a drain point. We can open that drain point, take a small sample, and get an idea of what the condition is like inside.
So Steve, as we can see here, we have the expansion vessel. So this is on the cold water main between the clarifier. Is there any checks you'll carry out in here from a Legionella perspective?
Well, it was something that was introduced in HSG, is that the feed to the expansion vessels is quite stagnant. So to get over that stagnation and to get fresh water in there, we open up the drain point to flush that leg, and then we'll close the valve, open the drain point, and that'll flush the vessel. So the feed and the vessel have fresh water in them.
So Steve, we're now outside the cold water storage tank. What sort of checks might you carry out here?
Well, on an annual basis we do a full tank inspection, and that's looking at things like the compliancy of the overflow, whether it has a warning pipe, if the warning pipe's screened, and then a full internal inspection just to see if it's clean or if it needs a clean and disinfection.
Okay. So Mike, we've looked at the testing and monitoring of temperatures on the plant room. What about point of use?
These tests at point of use will incorporate the monthly testing for temperature of any sentinel taps, that's the nearest and furthest from either tanks or calorifiers, depending on whether it's hot or cold water. And then all intermediate taps are then done on an annual basis. We also carry out fail-safe tests on all thermostatic mixing valves. This involves turning off the cold water and ensuring that the total flow stops. Should that not be the case, then we would routinely service those valves. Additionally, on a quarterly basis, all shower heads and hoses that can be removed will be removed and disinfected and descaled accordingly.
So thank you for supporting the CIPHE today on this Tech Talk Live on Legionella monitoring. I've got a question that might help our members. What sort of things should they be looking out for while they're in a customer's house?
Point number one, and probably the most common thing that we come across, is cut-off ends or dead legs. These typically get produced when systems are modified or sanitary ware is moved or even removed. Another common point is just remembering to locate hot and cold pipe work in relation to each other in the correct manner. So obviously make sure it's kept as far apart as possible, make sure that it's properly lagged, and obviously also put the hot water on the top as opposed to the bottom because hot air rises. The third point, and quite often what we come across, is materials that aren't always RAS approved. So it's always advisable to use the correct materials with a RAS stamp on it, things such as flexible hoses or even cold water storage tanks.
Well, thanks for that, Mike. Really, I'd like to sort of dig a little deeper into the hot and cold water pipework. It's quite common when you install hot and cold pipework that they get close together, and we need to realise that that 60-degree hot water could transfer over to that cold water and bring it into that dangerous zone, which is between 20 and 50 degrees. So then when the consumer then might run their tap, we're not saying it's going to happen in a short space of time, but there is a risk that that might rise from heat transfer. So really insulate those pipes and separate them. And also dead legs, you could have an extension being built or even a major refurbishment that actually someone might take a bathroom suite out, cap off the pipework and leave it for quite a considerable amount of time. So at that point that water is sat there not doing anything, which could be a risk to Legionella. So thank you very much for today, it's been excellent.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
I'd like to thank the Royal National Institute of the Blind, and more importantly Carter Environmental today for this Legionella monitoring inspection. The Institute, the CIPHE, would like to point out 3 key areas. Number 1 is qualification. Always ensure you are suitably qualified and competent to carry out a Legionella inspection. Number 2 is compliance. Always ensure that the products used are RAS approved. And finally, if you believe there may be a risk of Legionella, then always consult an expert. But don't forget to tell the property owner that there may be a risk. Thank you very much.